Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc. So, where we last left off, we were in the middle of the class trial, and Kyoko was just about to talk about how Hifumi's dead body could move all by itself. Dun dun dun! Okay, so.
The dead body moved on its own?
No! Not another ghost!
Oh, hero. It's called a zombie.
I don't think it has anything to do with the occult. I think what she's implying is...
Dun dun dun. Hifumi wasn't dead.
We thought Hifumi was dead, but perhaps in reality he was still alive.
He was alive?
Are you saying Hifumi wasn't carried out of the nurse's office, but simply walked out on his own?
But I mean, we found his body. He was dead.
Perhaps he was simply playing dead.
Or was passed out.
That it isn't possible.
The idea that Hifumi was still alive. Is it really possible? Okay, I really don't see how a broken wristwatch has anything to do with Hifumi, but okay.
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No, it is impossible. Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's dead body had been found. And that is why the announcement was made.
Are we really so sure about that? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Damn it, I missed it. I think... Yeah,
Are you
hold on.
saying that when we first
Found Hifumi and there's a chance he...
No, Hifumi was dead, and you know that. Surely you
I don't
heard
know
the
if you could
body.
do it this way, though.
Hifumi's dead body had been found, and that is why the announcement.
Are we really so? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office...
Because they were trying to do Taka's body.
There's a chance he was actually still alive?
No, it is impossible. Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's dead body had been found.
Yes.
No, that's wrong!
Okay. It was like it's either this way or the other way.
Was the body discovery announcement that was made really intended for Hifumi?
Of course it was. The announcement played right after we discovered his body.
Maybe. But that was also the same time that Taka's body was found.
That's right. It wasn't long after finding his body that we heard the announcement.
So there's a good chance we've made a mistake in there somewhere. I think we've confused whether the announcement was for Hifumi or Taka.
First of all, if two bodies had been found, there really should have been two announcements.
There was one after, wasn't there?
Maybe Monokuma simply got lazy and rolled them together into one.
What do you say, Monokuma? Any comment?
Well, it's a very sensitive issue, so I can't go into too much detail. But what I can say about the body discovery announcement is that it's only broadcast when 3 or more people find a dead body for the first time.
That didn't answer our question, man. We're asking if
Yes.
you're a lazy bum.
Because didn't he announce... Wasn't there an announcement when we found the two bodies in the
No,
repository?
actually, that was plenty. Huh? He said it's only broadcast when a body is discovered for the first time, which means even if we find the same body again later, he won't make the announcement again. If that's true, then why was the announcement made again later on?
Yeah, douchebag
Huh?
smart.
Later on?
Exactly. We heard the body discovery announcement twice.
second body discovery announcement. The first time it played was when we found each body in the nurse's office and equipment room. Second time was when
I got it!
we found them again.
We heard it a second time in the repository, when we rediscovered the two bodies.
Ding dong, ding dong. A body has been discovered! After a certain amount of time, which you may use however you like, the class trial will begin.
It didn't seem weird at the
I
time,
could have just replayed that.
but it
He actually
contradicts
talked
what
about it.
Monokuma just told us, doesn't it?
Exactly. If we were actually rediscovering both bodies, the announcement shouldn't have played.
Then in reality, when the two dead bodies were rediscovered, one of them was actually being discovered for the first time.
So, when we found Hifumi the first time in the nurse's office, he wasn't actually dead yet. Meaning, he wasn't actually found dead until we came upon him in the repository.
And that's just part of it. There's one other thing that leads me to believe he was still alive in the nurse's office.
Oh, I know! Because he was super good at playing dead! Bada bing, bada boom!
That is the worst logic I have ever heard. But honestly, I do not
Glasses.
think there's anything that can prove he was
cleaning
still
cloth.
alive.
Okay then, let's take another look at the events surrounding the discovery of his body. Then it should become clear whether he was really alive or not.
This whole thing is pointless.
There has to be proof that shows Hifumi was still alive. I have to find it and show everyone. He cleaned off his glasses. Yes!
Well, here's one thing we do know. The first time we found Hifumi's body was in the nurse's office.
Yep.
And then, while me and Celeste were in the bathroom, his body disappeared.
Technically true.
And the next time we saw his body, it was in the repository.
Yes.
But when you compare his body before being moved and his body after being moved,
Yeah.
other than the change in how it was positioned,
Okay, that's not.
there was no notable
difference.
That's it.
No, that's wrong.
Girl.
In fact, there was one clear difference between Hifumi in the nurse's office and the repository. His glasses. That fact alone proves that he was only playing dead in the beginning.
But why?
Perhaps you'd like to fill the rest of us in?
When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office,
Oh, sorry. Whoops.
but when we found him again later in the repository,
I have a problem with accidentally clicking my mouse.
they were spotless.
Obviously, he said that they had blood on them and now they're spotless.
And I found the item he used to wipe them clean in the nurse's office trash can.
The evidence I found in the trash can in the nurse's office was... Ding.
I got it! It was a glasses cleaning cloth featuring a certain cartoon mascot. One look at the bloodstain on the cloth should make things clear.
Blood is neon pink in this world.
This piece of cloth was used to wipe Hifumi's glasses clean. And the mascot on the cloth is the
We can't show
same
red
one that's
blood.
on the digital
Yeah, maybe I
camera, right?
Maybe there's something with like anime, it's like you can't show, like, I don't know. Or are they just like, it's a little less disturbing if the blood is bright pink.
And whose digital camera was it? Hifumi's, of course.
The character was Princess Piggles from Demon Angel Pretty Pudgy Princess, I think.
I highly doubt anyone but Hifumi would have brought something like this to school.
I see your point. And the only people here who wear glasses are...
I wouldn't be caught dead using a tacky piece of garbage like that.
A few tissues is all I need to keep my glasses clean.
Then there's no question. It belonged to Hifumi.
So what you're saying is... What exactly?
What I'm saying is, the blood on his glasses was wiped away using his own glasses cleaning cloth.
Even if that is true, it does not mean he wiped the blood off himself.
But who would benefit from a clean pair of glasses other than the glasses owner?
That's a good point.
Ding ding.
And it must have been him, right?
So let's assume that Hifumi was still alive in the nurse's office. He pretends to be dead. Then when he's alone, he
Did
wipes
he
his glasses
kill
clean so
Taka?
he can see. Then he stands up and walks out on his own 2 feet. And with that, the impossible task of moving his copious corpse becomes possible, wouldn't you say?
Did Hifumi kill Taka and try to frame Hiro? And then still try to frame Hiro for his own death when he died? It's weird.
But then, if he was just pretending to be dead, what was with all that blood? Was it paint or something?
The fridge in the nurse's office contains packs of blood
Yep.
for emergencies. He probably used one of those.
He figured if he was gonna play dead, he should go all out, so he just dumped it everywhere! But he got crazy with it and had to wipe his glasses off when he was done! God, what an idiot!
And if Hifumi was still alive at that point, the disappearance of Taka's body is easily explained. It should be perfectly obvious who must have moved Taka's corpse.
The one who moved Taka's corpse was... Well, it's not Taka, and it's, I doubt it's Sakura.
It could only have been Hifumi.
So Hifumi moved the corpse?
While we were all gathered in the nurse's office, he went to the equipment room and took Taka's body.
Well, this is interesting.
That also explains how the door to the repository got locked.
The door was locked? Well, after the bodies disappeared, we all went looking for them, right? So me and Sakura headed for the repository. But when we got there, the door was locked.
And the repository door can only be locked from the inside. Which means when Hina and Sakura got to the repository, someone was already inside.
And it could only have been Hifumi, who just finished stashing Taka's body there.
He convinced us all he was dead, and when he saw his chance, he dragged Taka's body to the repository. So, Hifumi wasn't just another victim in this case. He was one of the assailants.
But that means he took part in the murders.
I just can't believe it.
Yeah, I can't either.
If you're having trouble, would you like me to show you one more piece of evidence?
There's more?
Oh, the
Oh,
note?
absolutely. The single biggest fact pointing to his involvement has yet to be revealed.
Taka had a piece of a note that Hifumi also had.
You know what I'm talking about, right, Makoto? The item he took off of Taka's lifeless body?
Taka had the scrap, Hifumi had the whole piece. The thing that Hifumi took from Taka, couldn't it be... See? How did he know? Okay, right, Hifumi called... I just called him Robo Justice right now, but it says Robo Justice on this. It does say Robo Justice. So he wouldn't have been able to know... This is what Hifumi had, so...
I got it! You're talking about the
He
note
wouldn't have
Hifumi had hidden away, aren't you?
Hidden note?
That's right. We found it stuffed in his pants.
What? In his pants?
Yes, his pants.
Okay, well, forget about the pants for now. Take a look at what the note says.
I found a hole maybe we can use to escape. Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the equipment room at 6 a.m.
That's the note I was telling you about. The one that told me where to go. Huh? Wait, this one's a little different. In my note it said, Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the rec room at 1 a.m.
I see. Then this note isn't the same one Hiro got.
It's not the same?
In other words, the killer got in touch with another person besides Hiro. And that person could only have been...
Taka, because
I
Taka,
got it!
the one that's dead.
That's right! Taka!
Ooh. Oh, whoops, yeah, that's my cue to click the button, huh?
The killer used this note to draw out Taka and murder him.
Hello? Over here! Objection! Objection! I don't really understand what's going on, but Hifumi had that letter, right? So whoever wrote it wasn't drawing out TikTok, they were drawing out Huffy! Just to be clear, TikTok is Taka and Huffy is Hifumi, right? Ugh! Yes! Why must you ruin it every time?
Man, Genocide Jack is seriously scary, but still, I can't let her get to me. Alright. What we got? Okay. Okay.
Huffy had the note, right? Then the person it was intended for must have been Huffy!
But remember what the note said.
The note said.
What time did it say to meet?
6 a.m., I believe.
Okay, yeah, okay, wait, 6 a.m.
Time doesn't matter.
Yes, it does, because it was on the watch.
The note has nothing to do with TikTok.
Yes, it does.
No, that's wrong.
Okay.
No, there absolutely is a
Because
connection.
his watch was broken at 6 a.m.
What the hell are you talking about?
The note said to meet at 6 a.m., which is the same time Taka was murdered. We've already proven that using his wristwatch.
Yeah.
But there's more. Look where the note says to meet. The equipment room, right?
Which is where Taka was killed. I see.
So, Taka was murdered at both the time and place written in the note. I think that should be plenty to show that this note was definitely meant for Taka.
Well, when you put it like that... No further objections!
She's fucking cray-cray.
Then someone used that note to trick Taka. Just the same as me. The culprit really is a cold-blooded monster. Telling people they found a way out.
But if they gave the note to Taka, what was Hifumi doing with it?
Trying to take it back.
Pants, no less!
He was trying to hide it and take it back.
Most likely, Hifumi stole it off Taka's corpse after he died.
Huh? He stole it?
Where's your proof? Go ahead, show us.
The proof that Hifumi stole the note from Taka was Taka had a scrap of paper in his hands. He had a piece of it. That was right before... I think
I
that's it.
got it!
Yeah!
When I searched Taka's body, I saw that his lifeless hand was gripping a small scrap of paper. If I'm right about this, the sheet of paper this piece came from is... I knew it! It fits perfectly with the note we found hidden on Hifumi.
Then Taka's scrap and Hifumi's note.
Yup, they're from the same piece of paper.
Hifumi had the note meant for Taka, while Taka's corpse still grasped a small piece of that note. There's only one way to explain it.
Taka died clutching the note. Hifumi tried to free the note from his death grip, leaving behind only one small scrap. Did I get all that right?
That means Hifumi knew the note was important.
Exactly. Which proves that he was an accomplice in the murder.
Whoa. Yeah. After seeing all this, Hifumi was super involved in this whole thing for sure. In fact, he was behind the whole thing. In fact, he's still alive!
Sorry, no. When we found him in the repository, Hifumi was truly and completely dead. The second body discovery announcement proves that.
So then, who killed Hifumi?
Whoever did is the mastermind, the true killer.
He was killed in the repository. So he must have been killed not long after transporting Taka's body.
So, he must have been killed after Taka's body vanished, but before we found both bodies in the repository.
During that time, we'd all split up and were searching for Taka's missing body.
Here with a clean hammer.
In other words, during that time,
But I
none of
would've
us
thought-
have alibis.
Because I thought that clean hammer, the one that he found, oh, this one's totally spotless, there's everything on it. I thought it was like trying to figure out, like, well, did they use it to mold the other ones or something?
But me and Sakura were together.
Stop trying to steal the spotlight, you stupid walrus!
Who are you calling a walrus?
Anyway, when they were killed bothers me too. But there's something that's been bothering me even more.
And what might that be?
The weapon they used to kill Hifumi.
The weapon?
Yeah, because I mean, according to the Monokuma file, the way Taka and Hifumi were killed was almost the same, with them having similar fractures and all. But Justice Hammer 3 and 4 were still laying around in the nurse's office and equipment room, right? So if Hifumi was killed in the repository, the culprit would have had to grab one of the hammers, kill Hifumi, then put the hammer back where they found it. But wouldn't that be seriously risky for him?
I'm surprised. It seems there's some semblance of a brain knocking around that skull of yours after all.
That's so mean.
Hell yeah, it's packed in there good and tight.
He's right, though. I don't understand it either. The Monokuma file makes it clear that they were killed using similar instruments.
We found it, we found it, we found it.
Were already laying around those other rooms.
Yeah, I got this. I got this
So
one.
the question is, how could the culprit have
The clean
gotten
one.
their hands on either of the hammers? Personally, I haven't a clue.
So which hammer was
Lies.
used to attack Celeste? Number 1 or number 2?
Those were accounted for in other rooms too. And I don't think either one is big enough to kill someone.
Then,
Is it not possible they used a different weapon?
I don't think it is possible. They were both killed with the same kind of thing, right?
I got it, guys. I got it.
So then, what was used to kill Hifumi?
I got this. The weapon that was actually used to kill Fumi. The whole picture surrounding this case won't become clear until we figure that out. Somewhere after finding the truth. Blah blah blah. We got this. There we go. All right.
What was used to kill Hifumi?
Spotless hammer.
Was it Justice Hammer 3?
No.
Maybe Justice Hammer 4?
No.
Well, whatever it was, there's one thing we have to figure out. How was the culprit able to move around so freely with the weapon? How did nobody witness them carrying it?
sounds like a Justice Hammer 5 is about to make its appearance! Check out murdergear.com/hammertime for more info!
Well, one thing seems pretty clear. The murder weapon had to be one of the Justice Hammers.
No. Okay. It was either that or Justice Hammer 5. But we never had Justice Hammer 5, so it's speculation.
The murder weapon wasn't a Justice
also
Hammer
missed that
at
one.
all. No, it was something completely different.
But, seriously? A different weapon?
Specifically, a hammer from the repository. The killer could have easily used that to kill Hifumi. Now, all the hammers in the repository were covered in flecks of grit and debris. But for some reason, one of them had been scrubbed clean.
Huh?
And the
How?
reason it had been scrubbed clean was most likely because it was used to commit murder. If the hammer got covered in Hifumi's blood, of course they'd have to clean it off.
Otherwise,
I'd also like to point out that the repository has all kinds of hammers. Big ones, small ones, and even some flat mallet-like ones. I think whoever made the Justice Hammers used those as a basis for their design.
If that's true, that would explain the Monokuma file's note about the wounds being similar.
So Hifumi moved Taka's body to the repository, where someone then used a hammer to kill him.
And whoever did that is the true killer. The one Hifumi was working with. And the one who betrayed him.
because that's what Monokuma said. You have to find the one true killer.
Hold on a moment. I still think it's strange
It's
to
you.
assume someone was working together with him.
It's you.
The way the graduation rule works, there is no benefit to helping someone else carry out a murder. So the idea that anyone would work together like that is simply ludicrous. We talked about this, did we not?
We did talk about how there wouldn't be any reason for anyone to work together. At least that's what we thought at first, but... Spotless hammer. What? Why are we
Based
still
on
in...
the rules that have been laid out for us, even if more than one
already
person
used this,
is
so-
complicit in the murder, only the one who actually carried
We
out
must
the
need
act
to
can
steal something.
graduate and survive. Assuming the rule holds true, it is simply impossible that two people work together on this.
That is how the rule was explained to us.
But that only really
'cause we already
applies
used
if
this.
there's one murder, right? In this case, however, there were two murders.
2 murders. Can we really say there's no chance 2 people worked on this? Okay,
Based
so...
on the rules that have been laid out for us,
There was
even
only
if
2
more
things in
than
this
one
anyway.
person is complicit in the murder, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate and survive. Assuming the rule holds true, it is simply...
No, that's wrong.
Bam!
Since there were two murders, it's at least plausible that more than one person was involved.
What do you mean?
If there'd only been one murder, then yes, the idea of an accomplice isn't really worth considering. Naturally, if only one person can be saved per murder, an accomplice has no risk versus reward benefit.
Risk versus reward benefit?
The payoff for working together. The reward that balances out the risk of taking part in a scheme. There's no point in being someone's accomplice if there's no benefit to you. However, if there were some potential mutual reward for the risk, then cooperation becomes possible.
You're saying that 2 people could act as each other's accomplices to commit 2 separate murders.
I think that's what the true killer told Hifumi. They would each have an accomplice for their crime. And based on the case's events, Hifumi would have been the first one to act, murdering Taka. They made him carry out the first murder so he couldn't back out of helping them later on.
So in this case, there wasn't one single person committing multiple murders. Instead, each person killed someone, creating 2 separate incidents. And it only looked like one person because that's how the true killer designed it
Celeste.
to look. A single suspicious individual, a similar weapon used in each crime,
My money's on her.
disappearing bodies. By creating one seamless set of circumstances, they made it look like one person was behind it all.
The mastermind picked their target and managed to convince him to go along with their plan. And then, to avoid the no accomplices rule, they simply killed their accomplice. Which, if true, means that betraying Hifumi was part of the plan from the very beginning.
That's just awful. How could anyone be so cruel?
You think so? I can't help but admire its cunning. Still, their choice of accomplice seems odd.
The effort made to convince us the 2 murders were the same, that main characteristic this time. Kyoko must have noticed that fact from the very beginning, which is why she said not to look at this as a series of connected events, but entirely separate incidents. Kyoko really is amazing, although, when you think about it, she's almost too amazing. Like, it's almost unnatural how good she
I
is at this.
understand how an accomplice could be involved. But then, who was the one pulling Hifumi's strings?
That's problem numero uno right now.
The true killer manipulated Hifumi to carry out a number of actions, and in the end, murdered him. In the debates up till now, the way the case has unfolded, when you consider all that, there's really only one person who seemed to fit. I'm going with her.
Here's my answer.
I don't like her.
It was Celeste.
Ah, so I'm the suspicious individual now, am I? I really do hate this kind of joke.
A joke? I wonder.
So what you are saying, then, is that I specifically chose to work together with Hifumi. The idea that I would choose to spend any amount of time interacting with him, that I would go within 10 feet of that shit for brains, that lazy, worthless, goddamn idiot! Pardonnez-moi.
She fucking cray-cray.
Just to be clear, there is evidence to support it.
Is that so?
It is. Throughout the investigation, there was certain behavior that was common only to the two of you. Considering what we've learned so far, it only further proves that the two of you were working together.
Oh, what did they fool you like?
I got it!
Robo
The
Justice.
behavior they had in common has to do with the suspicious individual in the suit, doesn't it? The only ones who ever actually saw Robo Justice firsthand were Celeste and Hifumi.
Shush, the adults are talking now.
Sorry.
As he said, only Celeste and Hifumi
Bitch.
ever laid eyes on the costumed individual. If we accept that Hifumi was one of the culprits, we can't help but suspect what Celeste has said as well.
Are you saying everything they told us was a lie?
After taking Hifumi to the nurse's office, we all began our search for this individual, correct? And not too long after that, do you remember what Celeste said?
I saw him on the 3rd floor. I saw a shadow, something moving around the top of the stairs.
We headed to the 2nd floor specifically because of what she claimed to have seen. Next, to draw us all to the physics lab up on the 3rd floor,
She let out a blood-curdling scream.
and when we'd all come to see what was wrong, what was it she said?
Told you that bitch was suspicious. Celeste, what's wrong? That was a rather intense scream for someone like you. I saw him, the strange costume man. He ran off as soon as I screamed. I was blocking the stairs, so he headed further down into a hallway and disappeared.
Once she'd done her job of getting us all up to the physics lab, it was time for her partner to get to work.
Ah! Huh? Whoa, what was that? That came from downstairs. It must have been Hifumi. He's in the nurse's office. This is bad. Come on, we have to go back. We've watched this scene like 400
It was
times.
to get us to divide into 2 groups. So that we would discover both bodies at the same time?
In fact, Celeste was precisely the one who proposed that we split up.
Then why don't we split into 2 groups? I'll lead the hunting party. That seems much more interesting. Very well. Then Makoto and Hina, you come with me to the nurse's office. I will leave the capture of the suspicious individual to Toko, Byakuya, and Sakura.
Well, if Celeste and Hifumi were working together, all those chance events suddenly become connected. And on top of that, that piercing cry of yours early on. That was to signal Hifumi, wasn't it? It was your way of telling him, we're on the 3rd floor, everything's going according to plan. Why else would you let out a scream that could have carried across the sea?
I just realized another strange thing. When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, who we now know was only pretending to be dead,
I certainly was not expecting this. I did not imagine that Hifumi would be murdered.
Celeste, you were the first one to say he'd been murdered. You wanted to make sure we wouldn't have any doubt in our minds.
I don't believe it. Everything, the whole thing was one big act.
It was. But I'm going to wrap this part up here. Oh my god. And then when we come back in the next part, we will find out what happened. Oh my god, I am like so tired right now. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning when I'm recording this, but I really want to kind of see what happens. So I think I might record another part. So anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.